pattern bat or whether it's simply too painful for him to do so. Meantime, Root waits for Shakib to start the 4th over from the pavilion end. Stays on the back foot. The ball's right on the stumps and he just pushes it away on the leg side. No run taken. Fielded.
He's just got this thing as he gives you no room, Shakib, at all.
And he comes again, short run at 4 or 5 steps up to the wicket, bowls. Again, it's right on middle and off, but that's a lovely shot. Cover drive from Root. Waited for it all the way, rocked onto the back foot, and just eased it through the covers for 4.
That's what you call class.
Yes.
Some people absolutely strike it as hard as they can at the boundary. That was just, he just eased into that.
Bisected the 2 fielders out there in the covers to perfection there.
Yeah, Joe Root's a world-class player. In this England band, like you talk about good players and stuff, and world-class doesn't really come out a lot out of my mouth, but when we talk about batting and Joe Root, he is a world-class player.
You called me world-class this morning.
Well, you are. You and Paul. Paul's been Jacob is religious in my car. Let me tell you, you are world class.
He didn't. I just made that up.
Oh, did you? But he went along with it. That's what amazes me.
I know.
Too nice. Alex, you're too nice. Shakib to bowl to Root again, who again has to stay back on the back foot and just pushes it all the way up to long on to pick up a comfortable single. So the total moves on to 12 for 1. England in response to Bangladesh 305 for 6.
The key here is just keep the scoreboard ticking over. Rotate the strike, keep it. So, you know, and build a partnership. I think that's what they're going to do. I can't see them sort of going too mad.
Hales, who scored 61 and 24 in the series against South Africa, waits for this next delivery. Simple forward defensive back to Shakib Al Hassan. And we have 2 to come in this over with Shakib, this all-rounder. Contorts his body into a strange position just as he lets go. And that's a good straight drive from Hales this time, straight down to the man at long on, a runs round to pretty much straight to field and send it back. And Hales and Root now both on 6, the total on 13 for 1.
Yeah, basically a bound. Like this is a sort of perfect template over. A boundary earlier in the over, then a few singles, and then, you know, 6, 7. That's okay at this stage.
So just a couple of 4s in this innings so far. Root has one of them, and he's waiting for this next delivery from Shakib up to the wicket. Bowls down the leg side, and Root just pokes it out in front of square on the leg side. It's fielded by Rubel Hussain. End of the over. 4 overs gone, folks. 13 for 1 on TalkSport. England losing that early wicket with Roy brilliantly caught at leg slip by Mustafizur off the bowling of the skipper Mashrafi.
One thing about Shakib is he does bowl well to his field. You know, the number of times he bowls and the ball just goes to the fielder exactly where he wants it.
Yeah, no, he's a good bowler, and especially he's not going to get a lot of purchase with this new ball, but what he's there to is to tuck the right-handed batsman up and not go for a lot of runs, and you know, he'll come back in the middle overs and maybe later on if the game, you know, goes through its duration.
Skipper Mashrafi on for his 3rd over. He's the one with the wicket to his name, remember, to bowl to Alex Hales. And Hales, beautiful shot off his legs, just straying a little bit down leg side Mashrafi. Hales waited for it, clipped it off his legs in front of square, through mid-wicket for 4.
You do get full value for your shots here at the Oval today, don't you? No question.
Yeah, it's a beautiful batting wicket, and as you say, you get full value, especially running off the square. And as you alluded to earlier, Andy, if you get that boundary early on in the over, it puts so much pressure on the bowler, and then he's searching to try and claw it back. You may get another bad ball, but then you can just manoeuvre the ball, and as you say, you end up going for 8, 10 and over.
Mashrafi in again to bowl to Alex Hales. This one chucks him up a little bit.
Beat him there.
And it just came off the top of the pad and squirted out on the offside, fielded. 17 for 1 after 4.2 overs. Bangladesh were 6 without loss at the same point, so England have got to a slightly more aggressive start, but they have lost the wicket, of course, of Jason Roy.
I think it was really ball that started the ball rolling, if you want the expression, for them. I think he came on, I think he's last over from this end, and they went for about 15, 16, and then the innings didn't look back after that.
Mashrafi once again coming in from the Vauxhall end to bowl to Hales. Outside off stump and cracked away for 4. Nobody deep on that offside square. Hales waited for it, swish of the bat, and it's all the way for another boundary. 21 for 1 England.
Yeah, gave him a bit of width there, didn't he? That's exactly what he wanted, free in his arms.
Yeah, that's right. You know, as I said, that pressure of going for a boundary, you know, in your first ball, as a bowler, you're trying to claw it back, and in that, you're sometimes a little bit tentative, and you don't quite get the ball where you want it to. It looked like he tried to roll his hands over that to bowl a little sort of off-cutter. Didn't quite go the way he did, and it just gave Alex Hales width, which you do not want to do, and he's punished him 8 from 3 balls.
And Hales moves on to 14 from 13 deliveries. So Mashrafe in again to bowl to Hales. This one tries to tuck him up, but he turns it around the corner neatly enough, square on the leg side to pick up a single. Mashrafe still fiddling with his trousers. I don't know whether the trousers he's gotten are a size too short, Andy Jacobs, as a menswear expert.
Well, funny enough, when we played here last year, they gave me a pair of trousers to wear that were massively long, and thank goodness one of the TalkSport engineers with his gaffer tape did some emergency alteration.
That gaffer tape can't do.
That's what this referee probably needs.
We're having to wait in a moment because Joe Root's just having a look at the pitch short of a length, finally wanders back into his popping crease and takes up his mark, and Mashrafe can start his run up, running away from us at the Vauxhall end. Up to bowl to Root, full and straight, and defensive from Root. Is out on the offside, comfortably fielded. One to come in this over, 22 for 1 England, needing 306 to win this first ICC Champions Trophy match. We're bringing you the whole tournament live across our network on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Remember, Australia, New Zealand is tomorrow on TalkSport 2. Our coverage starts at 10 a.m. UK time. Mashrafe in again to bowl to Root, just short of a length, and Root just lets it run onto the bat and guides it down to gully where it's fielded, but they can still scamper through for a single. 23 for 1, fifth over done and dusted, Andy Jacobs.
Yeah, not too bad. It's certainly consolidating for England now. These two looking to build a partnership, but you mentioned that game tomorrow, this tournament. I mean, a lot of people think this is better than the World Cup. I mean, you've got so much good cricket in such a short time. There's going to be some tremendous stuff played, I think.
Australia, New Zealand tomorrow. Sri Lanka, South Africa gets the other group underway on Saturday, followed by India, Pakistan on Sunday at Edgbaston. They could have sold Edgbaston out 10 times over for that game. With the Indian and the Pakistani communities in the city of Birmingham, it's just going to be an incredible atmosphere to be at. We'll bring it to you all here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Shakib waits to start the 6th over. 23 for 1. England in response to Bangladesh, 305 for 6. If you're just tuning in to our coverage of the ICC Champions Trophy, you're very welcome. Shakib bowling to Root, who just took a couple of steps forward and punched it through the onside, through the arms of Rubel Hussain, and gets a single. And Root moves on to 8.
Clever bit of adjustment there from Joe Root, wasn't he? He got his feet in the right position, one that was speared into him.
Shakib is back at the start of his 5-6 pace run up. Hales waits for this next delivery. It's on leg stump, and that's comfortably pushed away to long on for Hales, and he just walks through for a single. Most people back in their seats now, I think it's fair to say, as we're 5 and a bit overs into this response from England.
Oh yeah, all right for them. They've had something to eat.
You can probably hear Andy Jacobs' stomach rumbling right now.
In case you think it was thunder, the weather's lovely.
Yeah. Here comes Shakib to bowl to Root. It just squirts out on the offside. Slight misfield, but Root was not moving and sent Alex Hales back to the non-striker's end. Dot ball then. So 1-1 dot off this over from Shakib Al Hassan. And he comes again to bowl left arm over the wicket to Root, and similarly to the shot that Hales played a couple of balls ago, just a simple push-up to Lawn for a single. 26 for 1.
When this commentary stint is over, I shall be availing myself of the bars around the ground, so don't call me back if somebody goes down injured. It'll be one of those.
Yeah. Here comes Shakib up to the wicket to bowl to Hales. On the back foot, he waited for it and was right on the stumps, and he got it away on the offside. Only a single taken. It was a risk when you stay back and you just try and play the ball as late as you possibly can, Andy.
Yep, he's a class player.
Root now taking strike. 1 ball to come in this over from Shakib. 27 for 1 England. Goes outside the almost outside the popping crease to send that delivery in, Shakib, but Root just pushes it away. No run taken. We've reached the end of the 6th over. 27 for 1 England, with Hales on 17, Root on 9, Roy back in the hutch for 1.
4 off the over, and it's been pretty steady, Alex, hasn't it? And it's what they needed to do after that early wicket.
Yeah, that's right. They just got to consolidate. I think Alex Hales will be the aggressor in this partnership, and Joe Root will just go around doing his business. He'll go run a ball slightly better than that once he gets in. Alex Hales will look to most probably show his dominance and want to sort of impart his dominance on top of the Bangladesh bowlers.
Alex Tudor And Andy Jacobs with us here on Talk Sport. Live at the Oval, the ICC Champions Trophy. And Mashrafe coming in from the Vauxhall end to bowl to Hales. Right on off stump and pushed away in front of square on the offside by Hales. No run taken. He's on 17, Joe Root on 9. And Mashrafe the only man to take a wicket so far. The wicket of Jason Roy.
It's tough for a QPR fan, Alex Tudor, as their sponsors now become very Chelsea heavy.
I'm surrounded. Yeah, I'm surrounded.
Alex Tudor just wandered into our commentary position and is berating Tudes. And of course, Andy Jacobs never backward in coming forward when QPR fans are in the vicinity. Mashrafe comes up to bowl and pulled round the corner by Hales, but there's a fielder out there in the deep who can hold on to that and send it straight back. I think it was Mamadullah out there on the boundary, square on the leg side, so only a single to Hales, 28 for 1.
One of the features of modern one-day cricket is boundary fielding. I thought England's boundary fielding was great this morning. You saw there again the way they sort of get to the ball, and you'd imagine it was going to go through him, but no, picked it up beautifully.
Stokes and Bairstow excellent for England in that department. Mashrafe still adjusting his trousers, clearly not happy with his clothing this afternoon, but he has taken a wicket. Up he comes, shuffling up to the wicket to bowl, and just climbs a little on Joe Root, and he plays it out square on the offside, fielded at the point area. No run taken, 28 for 1. May
well be his briefs rather than his actual trousers.
Well, unless he's got cycling shorts on underneath, I've no idea, Andy Jacobs. I mean.
Goes commando, says Alex Stewart. I don't know how you know.
Well, there's an endearing image. Mashrafe back at the start of his run-up. 3 to come in this over. 28 for 1 England in response to 305 from Bangladesh. And this one again is full and straight and well played by Root. Just out to the that short fielder in the cover area. Again, there's no run. That's 3 dots in this over, Alex Tudor.
Yeah, no, he's bowled well. Yeah, as you say, he just doesn't want to give Joe Root and Alex Hales any room at all. Just tuck them up. As I said, it's a very good batting pitch. The batsman can trust the bounce here at the Kia Oval. And they're just going to have to maybe, just consolidate at the moment. The loss of Jason Roy would have been a big blow to the England team.
Mashrafe running away from us again to bowl to Root. This one again is just outside off stump, and that's pushed away through the covers. Root will get at least 2 here for England. I don't think they'll get a third. It's well fielded out there by Sabir Rahman, and that'll just be a couple to Joe Root. 30 for 1. And Mashrafe walks back to his mark again. Just it's like Rafael Nadal before he plays every single point at tennis, isn't it? Just pulling, pushing, adjusting.
You've become obsessed with his pants.
I have. I better stop it now, but then he's obsessed. So Mashrafe to bowl the final ball of this 7th over. England 30 for 1. Bowls and Root just lets it run off the face of the bat, but that's well fielded in the point region.
Good over.
A good over from Mashrafe. Only 3 from it. And we've reached the end of the 7th over with England in response to Bangladesh's 305 for 6. They're 30 for 1. Few words from Alex Tudor. And then to pick up commentary here on Talk Sport, Jim Proudfoot.
Yeah, the Bangladesh fielders with the captain will be happy with the start, especially the first 7, and getting a big wicket of Jason Roy. As you said, a lot of pressure on the young man to get a score. But unfortunately, sometimes when the luck's going against you, those sort of catches and dismissals do happen. I think he would have been best suited to play down the ground, especially as he does it very well. But, you try and invent shots, and that was his downfall. But some clever bowling by Murtaza, because he did roll his wrist over that one.
30 for 1 after 7 overs then, as the ball is bowled to Hales, and able to flick it off his legs, and they'll come back for an easy second.
Yeah, there's plenty of runs on offer, isn't there? Well, especially on the leg side. There's only 1 man out, and good placement, and there's 2s on the whole time, I think.
So 32 for 1. Now, just to put this in perspective, highest ever successful run chase in a Champions Trophy match, 297. England needing 306 to win, and they'll get another one here as Hales knocks it straight through the hands of bowler Shakib. And England move to 33 for 1. England's highest successful run chase, much higher than the target they faced today. 350 they knocked off against New Zealand at Trent Bridge a couple of years ago. So well within range, and this time it's Root who goes for the straight drive, and once more it's through the hands of the bowler, who lets out a yelp of frustration that he was unable to field off his own bowling.
Also that one where you tip it as it goes past you, and you're hoping it hits the stumps, and the batsman that's backing up ends up being run out.
He's not back on his feet yet. Shakib, he is now, just helped back up.
That's what the yelp was then. Obviously hurt him as he came back. He hit it pretty hard.
Johnny Bairstow took one in catching practice yesterday that hurt in similar circumstances. Here he comes again, and this time there's a little bit more room, and yelp from the crowd, but it did bounce as Hales whacked it into the ground before being fielded in the cover area. It's a dot ball, 34 for 1. Shakib comes in again to Hales, who's 21 not out of 21, and this time he's given himself a little bit of room. He's hit it slightly square of extra cover, and again it's easily fielded. It's another tidy over here, just 4 runs from the 5 balls that have been faced so far. Hales again on strike to the slow left arm, and this time he's taken the aerial route. It's a lovely ball, 1 bounce over the boundary for 4.
Yeah, he had to do that because they were just getting into a little groove there, weren't they? The last 3 overs were just 3-4 off the over, and they needed that.
Yeah, no, it was... See him sort of getting a little bit frustrated here, Alex Hales, and that's his go-to shot, is that sort of slog sweep. But I think just going back to the yelp from Shakib, you know, as Andy was saying, he's trying to deflect it back onto the non-striker, because if it would have hit, it would have been out. And that's happened to him, I think, in the game against South Africa when Owen Morgan hit one back and he was backing up too far, and they, you know, went onto the stump. So you want to learn from his lesson, because, you know, that does happen more often than not now in modern cricket. England
38 for 1, chasing 306 to win this first game in the Champions Trophy here at the Oval on Talk Sport, as Mashrafi comes in again and bowls to Joe Root, who's able to lean back and guide it behind square, and will take a single. England up to 39 for 1.
It's rather a gentle pace to the cricket. We're sort of used to England going off at a mad pace, but I think here they've had to be a bit sensible. The loss of the early wicket didn't help.
Well, and in the context of the other day as well, when they were 20 for 6 after 5 overs, just need to be a little bit more conservative, lay the foundation, can't risk 2 or 3 quick wickets tumbling, because it then becomes a different task entirely. But at the moment, 267 to win from here at a rate of under 6.5. They will feel that with 9 wickets in hand, still extremely doable on a benign and pretty placid surface. Just a little break here as there's an adjustment to the field, and they're going to put a slip in again here for Hales, who is 25 not out of 23 balls at the moment. He's made a very good start. Mashrafi, captain, who's taken the 1 wicket to fall so far, that of Roy for 1. He rolls in past the umpire, and it's just flicked off the toes and comfortably picked up by Shakib Al Hassan, and there's no run.
No, I'm just sort of thinking about what Andy said about a little earlier about our footballers and sometimes cricketers, when we get into tournament play, we're a little bit nervous, because it seems so in the field. And it just seems we're being a little bit circumspect with this chase, because I think the importance of this game, because obviously you've got New Zealand in Cardiff, and then obviously the big one, Australia, Edgbaston. You know, there's no give-me's in this competition.
And Mashrafi will come in again past umpire Tucker. And Hales leaning back again, creates himself a little bit of space, but can't get it past the inner ring of fielders. Still in the first power play, of course, another 9 balls left in that first power play. Just think back to the Champions Trophy 4 years ago. There were 2 sides knocked out of that, having lost only 1 game in the group stage. So, you know, 1 defeat in cricketing terms in tournament play can be fatal. Go down to run rate potentially for you to be knocked out that way. But England with New Zealand and Australia to come won't want to be going into those 2 games 0-1. There's Mashrafi coming in again, bowling to Hales. It's a straighter drive this time, pushed down the ground, and the man comes in off the boundary, which is Tammy Iqbal, who scored that wonderful century earlier. Hurls it back at the stumps, and it will go through for a single. 40 for 1.
At the risk of talking Alex Hales out, he looks in reasonably good nick, actually, and he's found the fielders a couple of times, but he's timing the ball well.
Yeah, he will enjoy playing here at the Oval. As you say, as a batter, good players. He's tall, so he's on top of the bounce. As you say, straight bat.
5 ODI centuries to his name, all within the last 18 months, and he faces the Bangladesh captain again. Once more, he's been able to flick it off his toes, but the boundary rider can come in. And it'll be comfortably picked up by Mamadullah, thrown back. They've run through for a single, and the score moves on to 41 for 1, chasing 306 to win.
And yeah, Joe Root seems quite content, really, just to let Alex Hales have a go, which we thought he was building his innings, which is the right thing to do.
Still a run of ball, Hales. Root a little bit south of that at the moment, 14 off 19. But it's a solid start after England lost the early wicket of Roy. These two put on 35. Mashrafi comes in again, and this time it's a wonderful straight drive, straight past the stumps. Will it be stopped? No, not quite. It was a decent attempt from Tamim. He threw himself at it headlong, and he got a left hand to it, but it just came off his wrist, really, and then flicked back over the fence. And it's a straight drive 4, which takes England up to 45 for 1 after 9 overs. A lovely shot by Hales.
Yeah, fantastic shot, and that's what he'll do. He will impart his dominance on the bowler. He ain't going to just let the bowler bowl to him. As you say, it weren't a bad over onto that last ball, and he's just thinking, right, this needs to go for a boundary. What's my go-to shot? Strong down the ground. Fantastic shot.
Yeah, it's safer, isn't it? As you were saying about Jason Roy, would have been well advised to do that. And it was a wonderful catch, though, you have to say.
Yeah, the man known as the Fizz. It was a brilliant catch, a short, fine leg, just tumbling. With a shoulder injury, which he picked up last year. Missed a lot of last year. He was playing for Sussex until that injury hit. This is a big chance for him to shine. The player has taken 43 wickets at an average of only 16 in ODI history so far, which is an excellent record for a 21-year-old. Our first view of him here, let's see how brisk he is Joe Root who's having the first look at him. The beginning of the 10th over here. England 45 for 1, and Root just able to take a step back. It's not as quick as it might have been. It's only 83 miles per hour, and he's scored a single off the first ball, just hitting it past point. And England move up to 46.
For the listeners that were tuned in during the IPL, especially last year, he played for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. He was most probably the final of the tournament, really. He was really fantastic. And it's not his searing pace. Yes, he has some pace, but it's also his variety. He bowls very good Yorkers, Andy. Yeah, he's got a very good Yorker, but he bowls a lot of cutters.
Just an adjustment of the field. He doesn't have an orthodox first slip. He's got kind of a fourth slip in place, third or fourth slip, as Hales again gives himself a little bit of room, and he's managed to squeeze it through.
As soon as you beat the field, it's 4, isn't it? There's no question about it. But what we are seeing with Bangladesh is more variety than we saw with England. We've seen a slow left armer, we've seen a left arm quick, we've seen a right arm medium pace. England's bowlers, the 4 pacemen were pretty much the same. The 2 spinners were the same, Root and Moeen Ali. And, we're not playing Willie, we're not playing Adil Rashid. If you look at most successful one-day teams in the IPL and around the world, they have a good left arm quick.
50 up for England. 2 balls into the 10th over. Hales again. Gives himself a bit of space as he leant back and punched it through the cover area, but it was well fielded, and there's no run. England ahead of where Bangladesh were. They'd started off pretty conservatively, just got their eye in over the first 3-4 overs or so. They were 32 without loss at this stage, and you have to remember that they, like England coming into this game, had a top order collapse in the final warm-up game just 48 hours ago here, where they've been bowled out for 84. So you can understand the approach that they took, but it's a much kinder wicket today and less inclement overhead conditions. Very much weighted in favour of the batting side today. 50 for 1 England. And Hales again on strike, 34. And again, similar shot to the last one that he played. Just rocks onto the back foot, plays it forward, and Mashrafi can field. 50 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's steady. It's got that sort of, it's almost got a kind of test match feel about the afternoon at the moment. That sort of gentle calm before the storm, I think.
Yeah, that storm certainly lies ahead. 256 England need from here, from just a shade over 40 overs. So still about 6.4 per over, the asking rate. As Hales again just goes the other way across the wicket, off his legs this time, and runs through for a single. Again, the fielding is good with a brisk throw back into the wicketkeeper Mushfiqur Rahim. And they run through for a single, which takes Hales up to 35. The score up to 51 for 1, with 306 the target here on TalkSport.
Pretty sensible batting, I think, at the moment, though. It's what they had to do. They had to kind of rebuild, and they couldn't afford to lose another wicket.
Joe Root with this exaggerated, almost squat stance, faces Mustafizer, who's gone for 6 in his first over. And his first over will go for a total of 6 as Root plays a comfortable shot. They've certainly not looked like beating the batsman for pace. He hasn't really been able to show the variety so far, Alex Tudor.
Yeah, it's not that type of a wicket, Jim. It's you know, I don't think you're gonna see much balls fly past the bat unless it's a careless shot. But what will happen sort of in the latter stages of the innings is that they'll start to mix up their pace, the cutters, maybe the slow bouncers, the Yorkers, their spinners will till effect, which they will have plenty, and it's just how we played them. I mean, I'll be happy while Joe Root's there because he's one of the best players of spin in the world. So he'll use his feet, he'll sweep, he'll reverse sweep. Alex Hales will look to bludgeon. He'll just look to hit down the ground and cow corner.
And the ball will get a bit softer as well as it gets older too, so that should help England a little bit.
Alex Tudor vacating his seat, and Bumble is back with us. And change of bowling as well as being a change in the commentary box. And thank you also to Andy. And it's going to be Sumya. First view of him. We've seen 5 overs from the captain Mashrafi from this Vauxhall end. But now it's going to be Sumya to chance his arm. He's the medium side of medium fast as opposed to the fast side of it. Slightly slower than Mustafizer at the other end. Yet to take a wicket in one-day international cricket. He comes in now, and it is a much slower, more measured pace delivery, which is easily knocked down down the ground by Hales, who walks through for his single, and that takes England up to 52 for 1. Good afternoon, Bumble, back with us. Lunch all right for you?
Yeah, very nice, Jim. Bit of salmon, bit of salad, apple juice,
bit of everything. Seen a bit of everything from the Sri Lankan attack, from the Bangladeshi attack, I beg your pardon, so far today. 52 for 1 England. And again, it's Sumya at a modest pace, and Root, like Hales before him, just able to hit the ball in front and trot through for a quickly taken single. 53 for 1 England.
It's handy if your opening batsman bowls a bit, and that's what he does. Looking at this, it's gentle medium pace. The wicketkeeper is up to the stumps. It's about 75 miles an hour. Medium pace.
2 singles off him so far. Sumya rolls in again, and it's just flicked back behind square, and dot ball this time. Hales can't get that one away. Good start from Alex Hales, though. 36 not out in next to no time. He is the man who's the only England batsman ever to score a T20 international century. He also holds the record for England in ODI cricket. There's 171 that he got against Pakistan, and he's facing again. That one short of a length and eased into the offside, and he'll trot through for another single.
So Sumya at medium pace, I should think that the skipper just wants him to pop on and pop off. I don't think he's in for 10 overs. They get a few overs out of him just to mix it up. He's dropped his pace right down. We've seen the spin bowlers, we've seen the quicker bowlers. This is gentle medium pace.
Root just doing a little bit of gardening again as he prepares to face this 5th ball of Sumya's first over. 54 for 1 England, chasing 306. Root rocks back, and it's a very acrobatic and successful attempt at fielding from Mashrafi, who threw himself onto the strip, diving away to his left-hand side to save a single. So we'll save that one about 5 strips away from the track that England are batting on at the moment, where the boundary on the leg side of Joe Root is the shortest one, and consequently everything being bowled down the other side of the ground. Root's run through for another single as he plays a straight drive, and straight away pointed up to the England dressing room to ask, I think, for a new bat, which is going to come out from that. Well, in footballing terms, will be a technical area away just on the far side of the pitch from us at about 1 o'clock where we're looking at it, and they will bring Joe back Joe Root some fresh ammunition on. 55 for 1 after 11.
He busted his back yesterday in practice, and he got the ground staff to put it in a clamp and glue it together right at the bottom. I bet it's gone again.
You talked, and you probably weren't joking when you said you only had one bat when you were playing.
I'd had to buy it.
Obviously, you're going to have a favourite. So Joe Root will do everything. The fact that he was trying to get that one mended because he'll know the feel of it. And is it a simple adjustment to make when one goes and you?
Well, they'll have half a dozen at least. Ours were 2 for the price of 1. I remember it. my first one were Gradage bats, 2 for £4.11.
£4.11. And you got 2 for that?
You get 2 for the price of 1.
Wow. Imagine how many runs per shilling that was. Start of the next over, and Root with a new bat. Just fends that one away, and it goes behind square. No run.
Then you had to knock it in and oil it. You put a load of oil in, and how would you knock it in? You'd have one of your cricket socks and a ball in it and just go round the house banging it and banging it.
I convinced my lad that he had to knock in the play and miss, seeing as that was his favourite shot. And he went round. He did. He went round the house, just knocking it about 3 inches either side of the bat. 55 for 1. Root facing Mustafizer, and again he's just able to knock that one square. In comes the fielder Sabir Rahman, and throws it through to the keeper, and it chopped through for a single. 1 off the over so far. 56 for 1. It's almost the calm before the storm at the moment.
Nice to have a left arm seamer. Mustafizer into his second over, left arm over, decent pace, early 80s, but it's a different angle. England have an option with David Willey, chose not to play him today.
Mustafizer running in again, runs in at full pelt. Hales just takes a little shuffle across his stumps and then is able just to knock the ball forward on the offside. Goes through to mid-off area where it's fielded easily. And again, there's no run. Next to nothing between the two sides at this stage of their respective innings. Bangladesh 55 without loss. Halfway through the 12th over, England 56 for 1. Hales takes a strike, leaning over, and he just had a little look over his left shoulder to see where the field was. Mustafizer comes in again, and he's played it the other way, out again off the offside where it's comfortably fielded, and this is a very tidy over.
Drops his pace down to 75. So they've got it worked out, Bangladesh. Quicker bowlers with a change of pace and a change down. And so lots of the England quick bowlers, particularly Mark Wood, using the short ball. We've not seen that really from Bangladesh.
They've only ever won 1 game in the Champions Trophy. That was back in 2006 against Zimbabwe when they'd already been knocked out. And I fancy their chances from here. And this time it's an uppish shot, which is well fielded. Hales will be able to just, again, trot through for an easy single. It took 1 bounce before being well claimed by the fielder. I think it was Sumya Saka, who just came across and took it after it bounced. But England get another single. 57 for 1 towards the end of the 12th over, bringing Joe Root back on strike. 18 not out for Root at the moment. High score in ODI cricket of 125. That one of 9 centuries that he's got in this discipline of the game. In comes Mustafizer again, and that one's short. Root rocking back onto his heels, able to hit it down to long leg, and he runs through for singles. Kept the strike. 58 for 1 after 12.
Run rate is 4.83. The chase is 6.1. But again, you look after 12 overs, they're absolutely neck and neck. Bangladesh was 56 for 1, so it's early days. very much about building partnerships, and Hales is 38, Root is 19, so it's 52 from 57. There's no problems with this pitch. I think what we're seeing from Bangladesh is that they're quite wily. The bowlers will change the pace, he'll change the bowling, he's got lots of variations, all about England building partnerships.
Do have this excellent record against the top 8 in the world since the last World Cup. Bangladesh have won more than they've lost. Actually got the best record of the 4 nations participating in this event over the last 2 years. So they might be the outsiders to win this tournament. I'd say that they're not the worst side here by any stretch of the imagination, and they're giving England a game here. England 58 for 1. Sumya from the Vauxhall end, past the umpire, bowls now, and again it's flicked off the toes, and a little bit of tardiness in the field. We'll see that one run down the slope for 4. Joe Root with just his second boundary takes him up to 23, and England up to 62 for 1.
It's lovely placement is this. It's just wide of mid-on, and it's to mid-wicket's left. He actually caresses this through to the boundary.
23 off 28 for Joe Root. As I say, that's only his second boundary. Hales has hit 6, 8 in the England innings so far. Yet to have the first maximum. There are only 4 in the Bangladesh innings. Sumya coming in again. Bowls now, and once more there's a little bit of space. It's well fielded. Really good stop at point as Joe Root leant back and tried to leather it through the offside, but well fielded after a bounce. Diving away to his right-hand side. It's a decent stop. Ball returned to the bowler, and there's no run. England 62 for 1. Sumya again comes back to his mark. Runs in off about 12 paces and bowls now, and that one just lovely little flick off the hips and down to the fine leg boundary for 4.
I love a leg glance. Easy as you like this. It's off the face of the bat. Sumya just drifts down the leg side, and it just needs a tickle, just a touch.
And the partnership now up to 60 from 60. So England pretty much at the required rate. 6.4 and over is what they need from here, and it's been pretty much that for the last 25 minutes or so. Sumya again coming into bowl to Joe Root. And that time he's flicked it off his legs, and they will think about a second. Hales with the call tells Root to stay where he is, just the single, as England move up to 67 for 1.
Keep seeing this spider cam careering into the pitch, hovering over the players. It's attached to the floodlit pylons. It's got wires. You can see these wires in the air, and this spider cam goes all around the ground.
Sumya coming into bowl. Hales gave himself a little bit of room. He was beaten, and it goes through to the wicketkeeper. No run. 67 for 1. The floodlight pylons look like something out of H.G. Wells, don't they?
Well, these wires that are hanging from it, and you lose this spider cam. I don't know where. Oh, there it is. It's just above and to the left of the umpire now, not far. It's in range if you hit one high.
Sumya comes in. It's at a full length, and just stopping Hales getting any real distance on that. And again, it's no run at the end of the over. 67 for 1. Does provide some wonderful views as well for the television audience, the spider cam.
It just doesn't look safe to me. I don't know what you think. I watched them tie it up yesterday, and I thought, crikey, that's a bit primitive. And then they attach this, well, the contraption, the camera's attached to this contraption, and there are 4 wires from each pylon, and it goes all round the ground, picking up that one shot, if you like. Off it goes again. It's moving upwards and moving left.
Now we can see the shadow of it very clearly earlier in the day. Those shadows have disappeared now. So plenty of blue sky, almost a Simpsons sky, if you like, one of the opening credits of The Simpsons. A bit of blue, plenty of white cloud. A jet just flies overhead as well. Beginning its descent into Heathrow. 67 for 1 England, and there's going to be another change of bowling here, and it's Mossadegh Hossain with his off breaks who is going to come on to bowl. fifth bowler that we've seen from the Bangladeshi attack. 306 to win. In he comes, 4 paces, and it's a good length, and Root just takes a step back and then and goes down to mid-on, and he'll walk through for a single. Mossadegh Hossain took a wicket with his first ball in an ODI, only 6 since then. Comes in again, this time it's Hales. Again, the ball at a good length, and it's beaten the closest fielder. Probably shouldn't have done. Hales can languidly stride through for another single.
Quite a small chap, off spinner. He's bowled quite a number of these deliveries from wide of the crease.
Another one eased through, and the chase is on. It's better fielding that time. Sabir Rahman. High five between the 2 Bangladeshi fielders as the shot was worth just the 1 and threatened to pierce that inner circle. And Joe Root has to make do with 1. Hales on strike. In comes Mossadegh again, and that time he's trying to give himself a little bit of space, and the reaction from the bowler suggests that was a completely misdirected shot. It didn't go where Hales had intended. It went back behind square. No run that time. Just 3 off the over so far. It's the 5th ball of it. Hales, again, just watching it onto the bat. Root wanted a quick single. Hales waves him back. It's another dot ball. Makes Hales just slightly south of a runner ball now. After a good start to his innings. And watches again as Mossadegh comes in, and that one hit into the gap. Another straight drive, comfortably just angled down towards mid-on, which will see him keep the strike. And at the end of 14 overs, chasing 306 to win. It's 71 for 1.
The key to this innings so far from change of pace. Mossadegh has just come into the attack. He just bowls off spinners, but he's dropped his pace from 55 miles an hour down to 47. And so it's keeping the batsman guessing all the time, using a little bit of flight from time to time. And so this is good tactics from Bangladesh on a pitch that's doing absolutely nothing. So you've got to make your variations, and I think they're doing that pretty well. But England are looking set. Hales is 40, Root is 30, partnership is 65 from 69.
Afternoon, Bumble. Lovely afternoon. The spider cam is very interesting. I don't know how it works. I can't believe. What do you do? Is there someone with a pulley or
Sabir Rahman gets it back into the wicket-keeper, and a single is taken. 2-3-2 for 2. Just checking with Bumble earlier, Alex, and you can't have a runner out there. It's one of the stipulations of this competition. If you pick up a knock, Bumble was just checking the rule book, and you cannot have a runner in these situations. Okay. So Root has to struggle on with the ankle that he turned in a pull shot earlier, and Shakib goes into Bolter Morgan, who clubs it for 6 over mid-wicket. Goes 10-20 rows back into the crowd just to our left. The flamethrowers go off on the top of the pavilion stand, and Owen Morgan moves to 42 and the total to 238 for 2.
And I always get amazed with modern cricket now. You know, when I was playing, which was not that long ago, you know, when guys were going for 6s, it just used to clear the road. When guys make their minds up now to hit 6s, I mean, they're clearing stadiums, they're going 10 rows back. It's like the grounds are just not big enough anymore.
96 metres apparently, officially. That one travelled. So Shakib back into Bolter Morgan once again, holding his bat high as he waits for the delivery, and it comes from Shakib, and Morgan plays a lovely shot through the covers. He's going to go for 4. He's going to bisect the 2 fielders on the cover boundary, and Morgan's got a taste for it now, and suddenly England are pressing the accelerator. Morgan moves on to 46, Root on 96, 2-4-2 for 2 in the 41st.
And that's clever batting by Owen Morgan. Earlier on, as I said, early in the over, that's when they're going to go for their big boundary. He did. He knew Shakib was going to try and get that one through the air a lot quicker, so he just rocked on the back foot, picked his spot, creamed it for 4.
11 off the over. Shakib bowls this one on leg stump, and it's just pushed to mid-on by Morgan, who can casually stroll through for a single. 12 runs from the over. 63 required from 56 now for England. That run rate is now back under 7. Did hover around 6 pretty much until the last 10 overs, where he did creep over 7. Next delivery from Shakib is prodded out through the offside by Joe Root, and he'll take a comfortable single through to the cover fielder. And Root moves on to 97. Morgan 47. So a half century and a ton in the offing here for the 2 not-out batsmen. Shakib back into Morgan on 47. It's a straight delivery, and Morgan just plays it straight back to Shakib, who finishes his 8th over. He's gone for 62. It's an economy rate of 7.75. Out comes the England ancillary staff member to bring a towel out for Owen Morgan, and it gives Joe Root just a little bit more respite to rest that ankle. Alex Tudor.
Yeah, he seems to be moving not too bad just recently. I know, sort of nearing to his 100. That'll make him feel a lot better.
Well, the adrenaline's pumping now, of course. It's what happens when he wakes up tomorrow morning. It's going to interest me.
Well, he's also got till Tuesday. I think Tuesday down in Cardiff, when they play against New Zealand. So he's got some days to rest. I'm sure that'll be in some ice, and the physios and the masseurs will be all in that Achilles down there of his ankle, and trying to sort that out and give him enough time to get over it. But, you know, if he gets a sort of 130, not out, that ankle won't be too bad in the morning.
The ICC Champions Trophy on TalkSport continues tomorrow morning on TalkSport 2 from 10 a.m. Australia against New Zealand from this same group that England and Bangladesh are in Group A. And then Group B gets underway at the weekend, including India-Pakistan on TalkSport Sunday from 10 a.m. This is the ICC Champions Trophy live on TalkSport across the UK and around the world, exclusively on Channel 2 Cricket Radio. Rubel Hussain is back into the attack. 3 overs of his spell to come, and he's coming in from the pavilion end to Root, who prods it out on the onside. Good fielding at short mid-wicket to deny anything more than a dot ball. Shakib Al Hassan doing the fielding. 2-4-4 for 2 then, so 62 required from just less. Well, it's 53 balls now as we're into the 42nd over of 50. 306 the target. Rubel Hussain coming in from the pavilion end up to the wicket, and the skiddy ball. Big swing from Joe Root across the line, giving it the big yahoo, trying to pull from offside to leg side, got nowhere near it, through to the wicket keeper, and it stays at 2-4-4 for 2.
Yeah, just sort of skidded through. I think Joe's eyeing up the old mid-wicket boundary, which will also bring him to his 100, and a well-deserved one. It's been a fantastic innings so far, and just been a bit of an exhibition really of how to accumulate runs. Yeah, as you say, he's only hit 6 boundaries, but the accumulation has been fantastic for everyone here and at home listening.
Here comes Rubel Hussain again, up to the wicket, bowls, tries to tuck Joe Root up, he gets it off the square and will take a single with a misfield. Gets through for 1 and moves on to 98. Reminder, with the we're in a power play, so it's only a certain number of fielders allowed outside that circle, the inner circle. So for Owen Morgan, there's a deep square leg, there's a fine leg, and then there's a fielder deep on the offside square of the wicket. And then you do also have a long on now for Owen Morgan, who's preparing to face this delivery. England's ODI captain, left-handed bat, raises it high in the air as he waits for Rubel Hussain to come to the crease. He bowls and tries to squirt it down through third man, but the short third man fielder, almost up at a sort of a gully region, stopped it well there. Mossadegh Hussain, no run, another dot ball. 3 dot balls in this over, Alex.
Yeah, no, and that's all he can do, is just run up, don't give the batsman any room. Obviously, Owen Morgan's looking to use his feet to just try and, you know, mess up the bowler's length, but he's done okay so far.
A couple of stretches from Rubel Hussain as he then thunders in from the pavilion end. Bowls to Morgan, it goes through, just tried to cut it outside off stump, but he didn't get a leading edge onto it, went through to the wicket keeper. Another dot ball. And the comparison targets are starting to narrow. England 2-4, 5 for 2. At this same stage, with the ball to come in the 42nd over, Bangladesh only 5 runs behind that, with the same number of wickets lost. So this is a lot tighter than some would have thought going into this first game of the 2017 ICC Champions Trophy. Hussain coming in for what should be the last ball of this over. Straight on the stumps and club back over it. Morgan to long on, where it's picked up. Single can be taken. Morgan keeps the strike and moves on to 48. Root is 98. 42 overs gone, 60 required from the last 8 overs. 2-4-6 for 2 England.
Yeah, Rubel Hussain be very good with that, be very pleased with that over, and so sure is captain in his team. You know, only going for 2 runs, and as you say, England just have to be a little bit mindful just to watch the run rate. You don't want it to go to ridiculous amounts, because as you say, the fizz, when he comes into his own, is in the latter stages of a game when he can bowl those Yorkers extremely well. He comes round the wicket, he rolls his fingers over the balls, and you wouldn't want too much with him having, I think, he got a couple overs left?
3 to come.
He's got 3 to come. So
3 to come from Mr. Fizur Rahman. In the meantime, I think there's going to be a bowling change at this Vauxhall end as Alex Tudor leaves us. And we're rejoined once again here on TalkSport by David Lloyd as the skipper comes back on. Mashrafe Mortaza, presumably it will be to finish his spell. He's got 1 to come, Bumble.
England can't lose this, surely.
Well, did we say this in the final 4 years ago? Did we say this in the other final that England reached?
We said it also in that second one-day international against South Africa. South Africa can't lose this, can they? Surely.
Well, it is up to, as Alex Tudor was rightly saying, what the Fizz can do when he gets to bowl out his spell. Mashrafe just sorting out his field. 3 close in on the offside. Wicketkeeper standing up to the stumps as well as Mashrafe comes in to bowl to Owen Morgan on 48. And he edges it, a thick edge through the vacant gully region, goes for 4. And Owen Morgan, the England skipper, brings up a half century. 52 of 45 balls, 6 fours and a 6. And that takes England up to the 250 as well.
Well, he's in fine fettle, Owen Morgan. He's in good form, good nick. Partnership is 85 from 86. England just need 56 from 47.
And Mashrafe will feel a little bit aggrieved that that thick edge flew through the air and went nowhere near any of his teammates. He's ready to bowl to Morgan again, up to the wicket, down the leg side, and it's edged again, and this time fine. And the short third man couldn't pick it up, and that's a successive boundary for Owen Morgan. And suddenly Bangladesh losing that discipline that they had in the previous over, and England move on to 2-5-4 for 2.
It's a flashing shot, is this? Off cutter, it's a top edge. Third man is inside the circle, it beats him. Beats him on his right-hand side.
So he's had a little bit of luck, Owen Morgan, the last couple of shots. Given both of them a bit of air, but nobody in a green and red shirt to pick it up. So successive falls for Morgan as he waits for the third delivery of the over from Ashrafi. Up to the wicket, bowls. It's right on middle stump. Just waits for it on the back foot and pokes it out square on the offside, but it's fielded. No run taken. 52 required from 45 balls now for England to see their way home.
I think he's given notice in this Champions Trophy. We're going to see some high-scoring matches and innings and some really good innings from individuals.
Well, we are going to see a high run chase for sure. As I mentioned, the previous high run chase in the ICC was 297. Surely going to see that beaten here unless England completely throw it away from here. As Mashrafi comes in and bowls to Morgan. Just works it out on the leg side in front of square and gets a single. Will allow Root to have strike for the last couple. So you were checking on this about no runner allowed for injured players.
Yeah, he can't have a runner, Joe Root, but he seems to have got through it. He's on 98 now, he's on strike, and he twisted his ankle. We saw it very clearly. He played a shot in his crease and twisted on his ankle, but he seems to be running quite freely.
So Joe Root 2 runs away from an ODI century. Waits for Mashrafi up to the wicket, bowls on his legs, and he clips it round the corner. He'll get one here, certainly. He wants the second. He will get the second. Joe Root has got 100 for his country. His 10th ODI century. So many times he's got to 50 and hasn't been able to convert. He has today. And Joe Root salutes the crowd. Little high five with his captain Owen Morgan. England go on to 2-5-7 for 2, but more importantly, Root has 100.
Takes the applause from the crowd, and it's not a great celebration. He would say the job isn't done yet. Still wants 6.84 runs and over, but 100 from 115 delivery. Just 6 fours. He's had lots of running in there.
It's a century that hasn't been full of swashbuckling endeavour. It's just been focused and circumspect from Joe Root, and he's on 100, facing this next delivery from Mashrafi on middle and leg, and it's pulled away. Took his top hand off the bat and got it away for a single, and he is moving okay. You're right, Bumble, just watching him there. There's, but as I say, that could just be the adrenaline pumping through his system. How he feels tomorrow morning could be in time. Then England, 7 overs to go on TalkSport. They need 40 overs.
England's next game is on Tuesday down at Cardiff against New Zealand, so he's got 2 or 3 days to get himself right. I just think he looks fine. You can see a player, a sportsman, a footballer, a rugby player can twist on an ankle, and you saw it very clearly. So he's uncomfortable for a while. He may have had a couple of painkillers, but he seems to be running. He scampered that too to get to his century.
David Lloyd with us on TalkSport, part of our huge commentary team we've got for all our
winning the toss and bowling first. Bangladesh racking up 305 for 6, and it needed a good chase. England, I think, have played very, very well. Good partnership, this 93 from 91.
An encouragement for Bangladesh. Let's not forget, whatever happens in this game, that they've got themselves a total of over 300 away from home, because it's away from home where their ODI record is not what it should be. Now, Mustafizu is back on, and he's switched to the pavilion end here, Bumble. Been bowling mostly from the Vauxhall end in this spell. 3 to come from him, and he's bowling to Root on 101. Left arm quick, sends it in, and Root clubs it away on the leg side through mid-wicket along the deck. Picked up, and they will only take a single, England, to bring the skipper Owen Morgan back on strike. Morgan on 57, Root 102.
Well, they're still just about in it, Bangladesh. England need 47 from 41, but they've got 8 wickets left. They've not done a lot wrong. What we've seen is an excellent pitch. It's done absolutely nothing. No movement off the pitch. It's not spun. It's been a batting day.
Batting weather as well. Some of that slightly heavier, denser cloud has disappeared from this part of South London. A few wisps of cloud up ahead. But it's a lovely late spring afternoon here at the Oval as Mustafizo comes into bowl to Owen Morgan. Full and straight. Morgan digs it out on the onside, but it's fielded by the man there at short mid-on. No run taken. 259 for 2. Bangladesh chasing, England rather, chasing Bangladesh's total of 305 for 6 that they got off their 50 over. Wonderful century from Tamim Iqbal, ably supported by Mushfiqur as well. And Mustafizo is on his way back in from the pavilion end to bowl Morgan outside off stump, and Morgan tries to ease it just behind square. Didn't get everything he wanted on it, and it was fielded behind square on the offside by Mossadegh Hussain. Another dot ball for Bangladesh.
Well, just thinking back to the last 5 overs of Bangladesh, and they lost the 2 players who were having a great partnership. Tamim Iqbal with a wonderful century, and then England got 2 new batsmen in. I think it was that last 5 overs that stopped Bangladesh getting to 330.
Mustafizo waiting at the start of his run-up, and he comes to bowl to Morgan, bat held high as always, and this one just climbs a little bit on Morgan, but he's able to turn it around the corner down to fine leg and pick up a single to Sabir Rahman. Total ticks on to 260 for 2 England. Now 46 required from 38.
England's boundary count is good, 260 for 2, 24 fours and 3 sixes. And Joe Root, in his 102, just 6 fours, no sixes. So lots of scampering, lots of running.
Such a vital cog in the England machine in any format of the game. Joe Root, set to have his first summer as England's Test captain to come later this year, of course. Facing this delivery from Mustafizo, and Root clubs it through the onside, but it's well fielded. And Root is, for a moment, under pressure, being told not to come back for a second, and he almost slipped, but he ends up just with a single. 261 for 2. Good fielding there at long on to deny a boundary.
It's a good over so far, just 1 delivery to go and 3 singles in it, so required rate has gone up again to 7.3.
And that's what happens the closer you get to the end of the innings. That required rate can leap a little bit more than you might expect with only a couple of deliveries that pass. Mustafizo up to the wicket, full toss and straight back over his head from Owen Morgan. It won't reach the boundary. Fielders coming round from long on to pick it up, but Morgan will come back for 2. So a slight hiccup there at the end of Mustafizo's 8th over. And England 263 for 2 with 6 to come here on TalkSport. They need 43 from 36 balls. That's a required rate of 7.17 as Morgan and Root have another little conflab in the centre. David Lloyd.
I thought he'd nailed that last delivery. It's a full toss and it's gone straight back over the bowler's head, but it's got it right at the bottom of the bat. He's plinked it. It's as dead as a doornail right at the bottom of the bat.
It's going to shudder right through your hands, isn't it? Horrible feeling.
Oh, and in April, if you get one of those in April, when it's cold, and all your hands start tingling, and it goes through to your neck, your head starts shaking. Where's the middle of this bat?
Rubel's going to switch ends, and he's going to come on from the Vauxhall end now. He's got 2 overs to come. So Mashrafe just juggling his attack around, trying to keep England guessing with 6 overs to come here. 43 from 36, 8 wickets in hand, England. So with Root on 103 and Morgan on 60, very much in England's favour in terms of 2 batsmen who are seeing the ball very, very well at the moment. But as Bumble rightly said, get 2 new batsmen at the crease, it's a different game. Rubel hits it straight to Joe Root, and that's smashed for 6. Over long on. It was slightly over pitched. Root waited for it, picked it up beautifully. 6 runs, and he moves on to 109. 269 for 2.
his first 6. He'll enjoy this, Joe Root. He's not a power player. This is an area of his game that he says that he's really like to improve, hitting the big shots.
He is a taller man than you think, Joe Root. He hit that beautifully as he waits for this next delivery from Rubel up to the wicket. Much fuller, more like a Yorker. Dug it out well, Joe Root, and it was well fielded as well by the bowler. Just leapt up at the non-striker's end and picked it out the air to prevent a single.
Well, you're right there. Root stands about 6'2", and listeners would be surprised that he's such a tall batsman.
Rubel waits at the start of his run-up. Root crouches in front of his stumps, keeps the bat low as opposed to his skipper Morgan, who holds it high. Now he brings it up as the full toss comes in, and it's clubbed away. One bounce over the rope for 4. Pulled away on the leg side. Poor delivery from Rubel. And Root, as I mentioned, he's seeing the ball so well, he was able just to ease it round the corner for 4 more for England. 273 for 2. 6 runs is the required rate exactly now.
Lawful toss, angled in towards leg stump. It's picked up to the shorter boundary.
What is it, 57 yards to that side? 67 yards to that side. And a few readjustments being made to the field by Rubel. But a fielder going back to the deep mid-wicket boundary. Kind of cow corner. Men inside the circle on the offside as well as Rubel comes in to bowl outside off stump, and Root just lets that ease down to third man. Really through the ball. He'll only get a single for it. That's 11 from the over with 2 to come. 274 for 2. England chasing 306 to win. And Morgan will now take strike. Root's on 114. Morgan on 60. Hales, of course, 5 short of a century, was caught off the bowling of Sabir. That was the last wicket to fall some time ago. Rubel waits at the start of his run-up. Morgan is ready. In comes Rubel up to the wicket. Bowls full and straight and dug out well by Morgan, but straight to the fielder. Short on the offside. No run taken. Heading towards 5 overs to go. Joe Root signalling to the England pavilion. He wants something brought out to him at the end of this over. Drink, I think. Meantime, his captain waits at the other end, tapping his bat in the popping creases. Rubel comes in for this final ball at the 45th over. Again, it's full and straight, and Morgan can't get it off the square. Leg side. Ball just clipped the bail as it went through to the non-striker's end from the fielder's throw. We are at the end of the 45th over. 5 then to come. 32 required England from 30 deliveries. They're on 274 for 2. Root 114, Morgan 60. Bumble.
Rubel at the end of that over there, he gets his cap back from the umpire and he hurled it on the ground. He was so angry. And you look at his over there going for 11, but he's bowled 3 excellent Yorkers, but he's also gone for a 6 and a 4.
It's interesting why the Yorker is a delivery that's almost exclusively employed at the end of innings, and why it isn't deployed a little bit more in those interesting points in the ODI. I mean, is this something that you ever talked about when you coached?
Yeah, it's a difficult delivery, and they practice it forever. All sorts of ways to practice it, and a bar is put on the crease and they try and get the ball under the bar. It could be in that first 10 overs with only 2 fielders outside of the circle. They'll find other ways, and you would notice that the way that Mark Wood bowled with the new ball, he hit the pitch hard to get the ball coming through at chest high. But certainly when you've got the field back in the latter stages, Yorker is a great delivery, but he is so difficult. You miss it by a foot and you can sail out of the ground.
Well, our own Darren Gough was one of the best exponents of the Yorker in his time as an ODI bowler. Was for such a long time England's leading one-day wicket taker before Jimmy Anderson came along.
And the other thing that Darren Gough used to do is swing it.
Yeah.
You know, these balls don't swing too much. Gough would swing it.
So 5 overs to come. Joe Root and Owen Morgan have had their little drink, and Mustafizo starts his 9th over, coming in from the pavilion end. 32 required. And Root just punches this first delivery through to long off and will comfortably come through for a single. And that's pretty much how they can do it from this point. Just hit the singles, find the gaps to make the last over less of a frantic affair as England look to get home in this first game of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017. 31 from 29 balls. As Morgan is now on strike. Root on 115. Owen Morgan, the skipper, on 60. Mustafizo comes in, and it's a very full straight delivery. Another Yorker, and again, Morgan, as he did in the last over, digs it out well to the fielder short on the leg side in front of square. No run.
Just pushing England back again, that required rate. They got it down to a runner ball. It's now just crept up to 6.64 runs and over. 31 from 28, but they got 8 wickets.
And Mustafizo will only have 1 over to come after this. Whether they actually bowl him out now, Bumble, or whether they keep him for the 49th or 50th, I don't know. Up to Mashrafe. A few changes being made to the field. There's a, I suppose you call that a fly slip, would you? For Owen Morgan. Just at the edge of the inner circle. Fielder being moved out to deep mid-wicket. Lots of fielders on the offside. 2 fielders deep, 3 fielders deep on the leg side. The close-in fielders are all on the offside for Bangladesh as Mustafizo comes into bowl to Owen Morgan. And he's picked that up beautifully. It might be caught on the boundary. No, it's over the top of the fielder. It's 6 runs. Over-pitched a little. And Morgan picked it up and strokes it with minimum of effort. Over long on for 6. The rate goes under 6, and England 2-8-1 for 2.
He's found the shortest of the boundaries down towards the groundsman's shed. Long on fielder was interested for a long time, and it just dropped over his head.
Yeah, just 86 metres, that's 6 from Morgan. Big relief for him. Mustafizo comes in again. Fuller, a bit like a full toss, and Morgan's got hold of that and hits it through the covers, and that's 4 more. Well, overcompensated there, Mustafizo. Full toss. Morgan got a hold of it through the covers. That's 11 runs off the over, and England closing in on victory here. 2-8-5 for 2. 21 needed.
They've just stepped on the gas. That partnership now is 120 from 107. Just need 21.
Rate now down below 5, which we haven't seen at all up to this point. A shot from Morgan right off the meat of the bat from the full toss. No way the one fielder out deep on the offside was going to get anywhere near that. And Mustafizo Rahman has to think again as he comes in for this next delivery. Morgan waits, bat held high. Outside the off stump, short, and it's pushed away to that fielder out in the deep, so Morgan will pick up a single. Total ticks down. 20 required from 25 balls. And Joe Root will have the last ball of this 9th over for Mustafizo. So the original rate that England required was just over 6, and they've rarely looked in trouble, even though they did lose that early wicket of Jason Roy, barely troubling the scorers before he was caught at leg slip. Here comes Mustafizo into bowl to Joe Root, and it's a lovely shot through the covers from Joe Root all the way for 4. What a beautiful cover drive. Lent into it, creamed it through the offside. There was a fielder out there who might have got to it had it been 10 mile an hour slower, but it fairly fizzed to the boundary. Root finishes the over with 4. England needs 16 from the last 4 overs to claim victory here at the Oval.
That last shot might just be best in show. Beautiful shot along the practice pitches. Reached the boundary in a flash. 16 runs from the over, so just about finishing this game, England, and they're finishing it in style. They've really stepped on the gas, the pair. We talked about it being 7.6, 7.7. In a flash, it's down to 4 and over.
David Lloyd with us on TalkSport. The ICC Champions Trophy continues tomorrow on TalkSport 2 from 10 a.m. Coverage of Australia against New Zealand. And England back in action next Tuesday at Sapphire Gardens, Cardiff, taking on New Zealand for their second game. We'll wait for the diagnosis on just how serious the injury is to Chris Wokes, who pulled up with a side strain after bowling 2 overs this morning. And indeed, how serious that ankle injury is that Joe Root has clearly picked up. He's still out there, not hobbling as much as he was. 119 for Root, Owen Morgan on 71. And Rubel is going to close out his spell with his final over coming in from the Vauxhall end. Still waiting to pick up his first wicket. Bowling to Morgan, full and straight, and dug out well by Morgan, who'll get a single for it as well to mid-off. Good delivery from Rubel. 2-9-1 for 2, England. Closing in on victory.
That's hurt Joe Root there, because he started and scampered to the other end and hobbled for the last half of the pitch. So they've got work to do, medical team, to get him ready for that next game down at Cardiff on Tuesday. Johnny Bairstow waiting in the wings.
Most definitely. And David Willey waiting in the wings if Wokes can't make it. Up comes Rubel to the wicket, outside off stump and creamed away by Joe Root. Through the covers, lofted this time. It still makes it to the boundary. There was no way that Imrul Kayas was going to stop that. 4 more to Root, moves on to 123. England need 11 off 22 balls here on TalkSport.
Flurry of boundaries here. There's some real stylish shots from Root and from Morgan.
Just looking around him, Joe Root, to see if there's any fielding changes. There aren't. 3 men close in on the offside, and that fielder out in the deep as Rubel comes in. Short delivery pulled away on the leg side from Root, straight to the fielder at deep square, and he'll only get a single for that. So we're down to 10 runs required for England. 8 wickets in hand. Root on 124, Morgan 72. Start the car?
Oh yeah, start the car, definitely, and in style. 296 for 2. I thought this might have been an examination of England, 306 to win, but they've weathered any sort of storm. It's been a great pitch. I just tell you, this Champions Trophy, there's going to be some high scores.
Well, of course, England last year 444 for 3 against Pakistan at Trent Bridge. Rubel comes in, next delivery is full, but outside off stump, and Morgan just chops it out on the offside square and picks up a single. Down to single figures required. 9 needed from 20 balls with 8 wickets in hand. Surely it's only a matter of time before England get over the line on this day 1 of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017.
Always a sign when the orange jackets of security are just assembling, and certainly up by the pavilion where the players field and go up the stairs to the changing rooms.
As Rubel comes into bowl to Joe Root. Short, and actually Root's not got hold of this. It's up in the air. There's a fielder chasing after it. Out into the covers. He's not reached it. Root has gone through for a single. It didn't make it through. Was it Mustafiza out there trying to get hold of it? And Root has a life for England. Just trying to pull across the line from Rubel's delivery. Went way up in the air for top edge, but nobody could claim it.
Well, it's a steepler, is this, to square leg. There isn't a fielder in sight. It was fine leg. It was inside the circle, came running round.
And Mustafiza was about a yard away from the ball when it hit the deck. And it stays at 298 for 2. 8 required from 19 balls. England with 8 wickets in hand. And Morgan hits this next one over the top on the offside. It will only go through for 2. Out to the fielder in the deep. And we're down to 1 lusty blow required for victory for England. 6 needed with 3 overs to come. And the 300 is up. And whatever happens, this is the highest run chase in ICC Champions Trophy history. But as we said right at the top of the show, that 297 that Sri Lanka got 4 years ago is going to be eclipsed by potentially every side batting second in this tournament.
Predicted right at the beginning there's going to be a 400.
Well, 300 bang on for England with 3 overs to come, but only 6 required for victory. And Root and Morgan have stuck around whilst, as Bumble mentioned, when Tamim Iqbal and Mushfiqur got out in short order, having put big scores together, particularly Tamim with his century. That was what put the brakes on for Bangladesh and the opportunity. We did say, are they 15, 20 runs short of par? I think that's exactly what they are, with England needing 6 from the final 3 overs. And it will be Mossadegh, the right arm off-break bowler, to bowl to Joe Root. He's going to go for it for the 6, is he? Over mid-wicket? No, it just bounces short of the boundary, and it's just 4 for Joe Root. And Root moves on to 129, his highest one-day international score. He got 125 against South Africa at Centurion in February of last year. And he can finish it off here. 2 to win for England. And he goes again through mid-wicket, and that will be an absolute repeat prescription. 4 runs to see England home. Joe Root and Owen Morgan hug in the centre of the pitch. Job done for England on day 1 of the ICC Champions Trophy as the fireworks go off once again. No real fireworks required by England on the pitch. It was slow and steady progress, David Lloyd. And they've got themselves off to the best possible start, beating Bangladesh here by 8 wickets.
Well, a terrific run out for England. They've put a marker down in the tournament. They are favourites, they're at home, and that brings some pressure, but it's been a wonderful cricket pitch as this, and you can't help but thinking that Bangladesh, 305 for 6, okay, but hindsight and looking right now, 30 runs short. England, very impressive. They've only lost 2 wickets.
And Joe Root, an average in this calendar year, Bumble, 2017, he scored 660 ODI runs. That's an average of over 82 at the moment.
Well, he's got this ankle injury as well, but it doesn't seem to have hampered him too much, as he's finished on 133, 129 deliveries, 11 fours, 1 6. It's an impressive performance, is this. That partnership with Morgan, who's in great nick, 143 from 117 deliveries. Bangladesh have played their part in this. They can just dwell and think and reflect on the 2 batsmen that were going so well. Century maker Tamim Iqbal, Mushfiqur Rahim, both out in 2 deliveries, changed the game.
So England are off to the best possible start in the ICC Champions Trophy 2017. Joe Root finishing 133 not out. Owen Morgan 75 not out. Hales just 5 short of a century. Was caught out on 95. But England are home and host. They win match 1 of the ICC Champions Trophy 2017, beating Bangladesh by 8 wickets.
Ian's answer at David Lloyd, and David will make his way over to the pavilion. We'll bring you all the reaction from both sides there as England get off to a winning start, a good win as well. Some quality batting there on a wonderful pitch today. We'll get the final thoughts in a short while of Sir Clive Lloyd, and also Alex Tudor will be staying with me as well till 7 o'clock tonight. So just to let you know what's happening coming up next, we stay in Group A tomorrow. We move to TalkSport 2 and to Edgbaston. Australia against New Zealand, and then it's Sri Lanka against South Africa back here at the Oval on TalkSport 2 on Saturday. And then Sunday, what a game at Edgbaston. It's India against Pakistan. That'll be on TalkSport. And then on Monday, Australia, Bangladesh at the Oval, through to Tuesday, England against New Zealand, their second game in Cardiff, and that's back on TalkSport. The crowd here, some 23,000 of them. Perhaps the most of them won't go home happy, because there was terrific support for Bangladesh here today, but England in the end just far too good. But a good start for them, 308 for 2, Bangladesh having set them 305 for 6 from their 50 overs, and in the end, Clive Lloyd and Alex Tudor, it was just not enough on a wicket that really did nothing all day.
Yeah, they just sort of lost their momentum a little bit after Tamim and Mustafa Rahman got out. You know, they put that massive partnership of 160 plus, and it was fantastic the way he went about it and the way they accumulated it, I think, within 25 overs. But when Liam Plunkett came on and got, 2 in 2, it just stopped that run flow, and we all felt in here, didn't we, that there was maybe 15, 20 runs short. And I mean, England did that in a canter in the end. You know, whenever you have a run chase and there's plenty of balls left, maybe even 330 would have been an easy target for England. But, England, Trevor Bayliss, Owen Morgan, they'll be very happy with that batting display. The bowling display we can talk about in a minute, but that batting display was fantastic. And Joe Root, again, just puts on an exhibition pretty much every time he goes out there and bat. He just puts out an exhibition. It was a fantastic batting display. Alex Hell's obviously a little bit dominant, 95. A little bit of a worry of Jason Roy, but I'm sure he will come good.
Clive, what about that?
I just thought that probably when they had such a good platform, Bangladesh, that the lower orders batters were trying to hit sixes when they should have tried to pierce the field, get 3s and 4s, and they probably might have got to 330, 340. So they gave the wickets away when the platform was really set for 340. Gives England a different way of thinking, and I think that's the problem that they have. The other problem that I think Bangladesh has is their bowling is not that hot, and I would like to see sometimes. All right, they spread the field out. This is a very big field. It's very difficult to defend. So all they had to do was just knock it around, and they were getting 6 and 7 and over, and they weren't losing any wickets. They didn't have to do anything, to extra, in the sense that if they had the fielders, then let them try and hit over the top. They do something different. I just thought that those are the 2 areas that I presume that they lost out in not capitalizing on a good start, getting a total of 340, and then field placing, trying something different.
We'll have more thoughts from Sir Clive and also from Alex as we move through towards 7 o'clock. We're also going to obviously hear from the main men, find out the man of the match, and plenty for you besides here at the Oval. I'm Mark Saggers, and this is Talk Sport and the Champions Trophy, live on Talk Sport and Talk Sport 2, right the way through this wonderful competition.
The ICC Champions Trophy 2017. Over on Talk Sport 2.
That's what the crowd wants to see.
Tomorrow morning from 10, hear full ball-by-ball commentary of Australia versus New Zealand, direct from Edgbaston.
Short ball is wrapped at the pad, a loud appeal is given him. New Zealand are excited.
Australia versus New Zealand. Tomorrow morning from 10, over on Talk Sport 2.
Wonderful.
Get ready to scrum down under as the Lions come to Talk Sport. With a heroic lineup of expert opinion and encyclopedic Borg-like knowledge from Shane Williams, Ben Kay, Gordon Darcy, and former All Black Justin Marshall. Live and exclusive coverage of the entire British and Irish Lions tour starts Saturday exclusively on DAB Digital Radio, online, and on 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
Well, welcome back here to the Oval, and we've seen a terrific victory for England today by 8 wickets against Bangladesh to really get their campaign in this competition underway in exactly the right way. 308 for 2. They made chasing 306 to win after Bangladesh finished on 305 for 6 from their 50 overs today. Look, I want to talk about the good things for England in a short while, Sir Clive and Alex, but I want to talk first, if I may, about 1 or 2 problems that they've got. And one of those will be Chris Woakes. Side strain, didn't sound too good, went off after a couple of overs. And I know running on adrenaline for Joe Root and still moving well, but it just depends how far he has turned that ankle and how that reacts, not just tonight, but tomorrow, I guess, as well.
Yes, I think that, with Woakes' injury, those side strains are things that take some...
Horrible, aren't they?
They take a long time to heal. But they have good cover. There's Bairstow, there's
Willie,
and he's a good strike.
We're going to come back to you, Sir Clive, because let's go down to Bumble. And who you got with you, Bumble?
Thanks, guys. I've got Joe Root alongside. That's an impressive performance, Joe.
Yeah, I think throughout we did very well to restrict him to what we did, 305 I think it was, and then I thought it was a very clinical performance with the bat. Alex Hales was very good at the top, putting him under pressure all the time, allowing guys like myself to knock it around, get used to the conditions, and for Owen to come in and play how he did was fantastic. I thought we paced it beautifully.
And responsibility yourself with a great century, Owen Morgan, the captain, that's responsibility of building a partnership.
Yeah, and it's nice, and it gives you a lot of confidence having guys like Ben Stokes, Josh Butler, Moeen Ali, those guys behind you, knowing that there's so much ability in that dressing room. If it doesn't quite go right, it gives you confidence to play with freedom, but along with freedom does come responsibility, and the more that we get in good positions like we did today and see it through, the more confidence that gives us, and I think it stands us in really good stead starting a major tournament like this.
Did it go according to plan right from the start? Win the toss, we're going to have a bowl first, and then you lose Chris Wilkes?
Yeah, no, that's never good. Wilkes has been a massive part of our dressing room for a long period of time now, so of course it's a big blow, but you always say that going into major tournaments you need a strong squad, and I believe we've got that. So for the guys to respond to that and to keep them to 300 on what was a really good wicket was really pleasing, and as I said, just great to get off to a winning start.
Did you feel that when you brought that partnership and you got 2 wickets in 2 balls and got rid of Tamim Iqbal and Rahim, that's the time to pounce?
Absolutely, and as well they look set to get something like 330, 340, which could have been a slightly trickier done with their attack. So really pleasing to see Liam again come up good. I think 4 for once again. Fantastic effort in those middle overs. He's really becoming a consistent performer through that period, and it's just great to see everyone take responsibility.